Welcome to the Friday Night Lineup, a show about two friends reminiscing on TV shows and movies from our childhood and teenage years. I know it's been a minute. My schedule has been so hectic, and we needed a longer hiatus than we expected, but I am back. Jessica is still out on motherly duties, but we will be reunited very soon. This week, I have another special guest with me, my friend Candice. We talk about the incredible, the infamous, the iconic Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam. We talk about our favorite and not so favorite moments, as well as some discrepancies we discovered later in life when we rewatched the movie as adults. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did, and with that, roll the intro.
We're just gonna go for it.
We're just gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to the Friday Night Lineup, everyone. I am one of your hosts, Sharissa, and I am joined by a special guest co-host today. Trying to think of a hype up introduction to get you hype, you know? Old college friend, DJ extraordinaire.
Wow. We do not need to put that out there.
YouTube rising star.
Okay, girl. Let's reel it back down.
Candice, last name redacted because I don't want you finding her. Hello, hey, Candice.
Y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, Charisse. Thanks for having me. We're here.
Yes, we are here. And of course, since I have Candice on the pod, we had to talk about one movie that just like brought us together.
It really did.
Camp Rock 2. You know what? Let's just jump into it. Like, what brought you to Camp Rock 1? Because you had to see 1 to see 2, I'm assuming. Yeah, just start us on your Camp Rock journey. Paint us a picture.
My Camp Rock journey is short. Oh. I like Disney Channel movies. And Camp Rock 1 was great for what it was at the time that it was. So when they finally came out with Camp Rock 2, I was hyped, and I have a lot to say about it now.
I watched it. I instantly remembered the day it premiered. I was so excited. I had string cheese and an apple juice box because I started going to high school early, and I had breakfast. And like they would always have string cheese and Apple and Eve juice boxes to where I stocked up at home because I'm like, this is a fire snack. So I had that and was just so hype when I heard it's a brand new day. And I was just with my string cheese. A brand new day. Oh my gosh. And so yeah, I loved the first movie. The second movie, I was just like that. At that point, I was a Demetria stan.
Demetria.
Also a side note: when I refer to Michi Torres, I will be using she, her. But if I'm referring to Demi by themselves, I'm using they, them. So don't come for me like, no, it is they. Like, trust me, I know and respect Demi's pronouns. I will not be misgendering Demi throughout this. But yeah, going into the film, it's a brand new day.
It's a brand new day, man.
Oh my gosh. I think we talked about it before that like Camp Rock is a good cringe. It's not like, and I think at some points they're very aware how cringy they are. So it works. It's not like, oh, they're serious. Like, oh, it's a little concerning. But like, they know it's over the top. They're supposed to be like theater kids, essentially. So it only makes sense. It's not just an everyday average high school. So I'm like, High School Musical works, Camp Rock works.
I think so too. I think the cringe, the way I feel about the cringe now, though, as an adult, is kind of like, oh my gosh, how did I miss this? This is just weird. But back then,
there was some points.
Musical.
Some points I was like, no, this is just flat out bad.
I'm already laughing because this movie is so laughable to me now.
I was cracking up so much. But in a good way, exactly, in a good way.
Yeah. But as far as favorite parts, I mean, we've talked about this movie so much. One of my favorite parts is definitely It's a Brand New Day and how they transitioned into Mitchie not having a song prepared. And then suddenly everyone has a song prepared and they're all dancing to
Yes.
Just the dance sequence in that is hilarious to me, how that all came together.
Yeah.
Second favorite part being, I still don't even know how to, I guess when Camp Rock wanted to confront Camp Star and they did their little Camp Rock.
Hold on. I was going to talk about this later, but let's talk about it now. That became a whole TikTok thing where they're
Really?
like, yes, it was a trend on TikTok and they were basically saying how bad it was and how cringy it was.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you're coming up to a camp, but no, forget it. Let's just dissect that sentence. You're coming up to a camp. These kids are at camp. They're going to be doing stupid stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they do stuff like, I said a boom, chicka boom, and like all that other stuff you do at camp. Banana slug. And like, of course they're going to be doing something stupid.
It served its purpose. It definitely did. I appreciate it for what it was, but it's still hilarious. And when I watch it, I'm like, why? Who thought of this?
Like, let's run up on the camp doing a step.
Yeah. How long did it take for them to practice this? Like, how did this come about? I have questions.
Yeah. I know they had to practice.
Yes.
You don't think about these things. It's just like, hey, we're all talk saying that we're going to challenge Camp Star. Let's go over there. But hold on. Let's practice this step routine first.
Right. Like, get on beat, guys. You can't mess up. This is detrimental. We are showing up.
And then Nick, his feet was just the two drumsticks hitting.
Yes.
It made no sense. But also, since we're on the topic of It's On, that whole scene, going into it as an adult, I was like, you know what? And not just an adult, but someone who's like in somewhat of this industry. I was like, I wish they would have had like a very distinct, like, I'm a Camp Star camper and I'm a Camp Rock camper, because in that scene they blend a lot, so you don't know who's who. Mm-hmm. And they just usually just make the Camp Star people just like, oh, they're snooty, so that's how you know they're a Camp Star person. But if they would have them in different clothing or like a different style,
matching t-shirts,
make them very militant or something, because that's what they make the camp look. So yeah. And then like Camp Rock's all spirited, like, you know, yes. Like I'm very homey. Yes, they did that kind of with the setup. It felt very homey, very camp, if you would say. Like, with like the dresses, the colors and all that stuff. But it just, they did the same thing at Camp Star. But I guess like maybe that could have been, I doubt they went this deep for a Disney film, but it was just like, at the end of the day, they're all the same.
Yeah.
I doubt Disney's like, nah, we just didn't have the budget. We were just going to put them all in the same thing. But I love that scene because there's so much moving parts. Like when they're in the bleachers and they all like merge together. I was like, this is just a great scene. So get past the step, watch more. And I'm like, this is good for a Disney film. And with a Disney budget. Let's get into it now. Okay. Introducing me.
Ooh. Yes! What do you have to say about that?
Iconic.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And it was so funny. I put a note in there. I forgot we made a video, like a snap, like something was on my Snap story or something. I couldn't find it, but it was us like
I know dancing. What you're talking about. Yeah.
Us dancing to like the breakdown part of it. Oh man.
I probably have it somewhere. I'll find it and send it to you because one of my favorite moments.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we stayed playing Introducing Me. Anything, what do you call him? Nicholas Jonas? Oh wait, Jerry Jonas, isn't that his full name?
I have no idea. He's just Nick Jonas
I
to
thought
me.
who called him Nicholas Jerry
Nicholas
Jonas?
Jerry Jonas.
Yes.
Yes.
Was you?
Was it me? That
I
seems
think
familiar to me.
It seems so familiar, but no one went as hard for Nick Jonas that I've known in recent years than you. So I'm like, it just had to be Candice.
It probably was. Nicholas Jerry Jonas. Wow, I have not heard those names together in a long time, to be honest.
Since we made that video.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's just iconic. I don't need rom-coms. I need Introducing Me. That's my taste.
I was obsessed with that song to the point where I would look up videos of them performing it like live. And you know how Nick would do it super fast and would have a timer behind him. I don't know if you've watched videos of him in concert. Yeah.
No, I have not.
I would watch those videos and see how fast he would do it, and I would do it with him. Like, oh, I'm gonna get this in 2 minutes too.
No, here goes.
And do it faster than Nick.
Oh my gosh.
Great song.
Great.
Moon looking like a toenail. He doesn't like cheese on his quesadilla.
I know. No, he only likes it on a homemade quesadilla. Otherwise, it smells like feet to him.
You're right.
Makes sense.
Facts.
I know some of the stuff, like when you really listen to the lyrics, I'm like, you know what? Me too.
I can relate to that.
I can relate to that. When what's his name's like graham crackers.
I was waiting for this.
I forgot. That's my favorite movie. Favorite thing. Oh, I should have led with that. That's
he is one of my favorite underrated characters in this movie.
Yeah, he really does shine.
Yes.
Between that and then and It's On when he does this thing.
Yes.
He went off with the choreography.
He is great. And sadly, I don't even know his name, but
hold on, I wrote it because I did not know. I think it was Baron.
What?
I'm like, what? Baron? Let me go to the
real
cast.
life name or his?
No, Jordan. Jordan Francis is his real name.
Neither of those names sound familiar. So
Jordan Francis sounds familiar, but Baron James is his character.
Is he like 50? Why did they give him that name?
Because I never understood what Mitchie was saying when she was like, blah blah blah, Sanders. Like I knew Rashawn Fagan was Sander. But for some reason, I thought they were both named Sander. I just gave them both the name Sander. But his name's Baron. Aaron with a B.
Okay.
So, yeah. Baron went off. He was definitely...
Graham crackers in my
Graham
mind.
crackers!
Yes. Such a random... Whatever. Such a funny moment, though.
Because everybody's like, I got chocolate. I got marshmallows.
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers! Oh my God. That kind of goes into another thing that I really liked was, this could be a hot take, but the final jam. I like Tear It Down. Tear It Down was a good song. Now we will get into, we could come up on the questions. I always do the questions I need answers to. That segment I'm going to talk more about Final Jam. But I'm like, the song was good. I liked it better than their first one.
Sure.
But you're like, sure. But still, I'm camp rock through and through. But watching it back as an adult, I'm like, yeah, their stuff was good.
I am just going to put it like this. I had the soundtrack of Camp Rock 2 on like my iPad or something like that. And I had every song on there except Camp Star songs because I hated them so much. I was like, this does not give me the feels like all the other songs.
Oh my God.
So even when I watch the movie, I usually skip those parts. I usually skip their songs because I'm like, this is just, it just feels so fake and manufactured and not as authentic. And I'm like, ugh, you guys are trying too hard. This is Camp Rock.
God.
Where's your soul? Do you have heart and soul?
You can rock and roll.
Exactly. You're missing the whole point.
Oh my gosh.
So, never been a fan.
Yeah. Did not like them, like Luke.
No, Mr. Boomcat Cat. That was one of my notes.
But she was like, Luke, I'm giving you the fire, William.
Yes.
that I hate that scene. That was the big I hate that scene. Mm-hmm. That's when the cringy was bad. But when Mitchie was like, Luke, I'm giving you the Fire Williams, that brought me back. But I was like, oof, especially him and Tess talking. I was like, get me out of here.
Him in general just irritated me. Like, even when I watched it in my youth, however old I was at the time, I just felt like the acting was too hard, like just too sassy and too, he just moved too much. And it just, again, not authentic. Never liked them. It's like, y'all could have, not a fan.
I'm trying to think if I don't like a song off the soundtrack. I know one I listen to less. I don't listen to the Connect 3 song. The You Can Rock and Roll.
I like that one.
Because it was just randomly placed. Now they all start spontaneously, but like when I forget Alison Stoner's character, but when she was like, but we're not all rock stars like you guys. Around. And then they start playing, she just jumps up. Yes. I'm like, why is this song here? It just didn't. I guess they had to perform. Like, I don't know.
This is one thing that I just don't like about musicals, but at the same time, I love it because it is. Musicals are just funny. This is what makes them funny. It's the acting leading into a song.
Oh, one other thing. Tessa's face. When it's slow, just Tessa's face. Move on.
Right, I'm like, what?
When it's the slow-mo, if you haven't watched the film, sorry, I'm gonna spoil it. When Camp Rock loses and Tessa's concerned face, just a slow-mo of that was just like, it kicked in my fight or flight. Like, I was like, why?
Why?
It was just so unsettling seeing her face in slow-mo be fake concerned.
That is funny.
And then like her hand just slowly goes on Mitchie's shoulder. And she has like this weird, like slight smile frown with like the red lipstick probably didn't help either. But it was just like, it was very weird to me.
Like, too many choices that you didn't
too
like.
many wrong choices. But I think that's all the negative things I had.
You want to know what's funny? Going back to how I like block out Camp Star. I always forget that they won the final jam. Like in my mind, Camp Rock definitely won.
I mean, if we're going off of the lore of it all, they won in the end because everybody wanted to go to Camp Star the next summer. Camp Rock the next summer.
Let's not. In my mind, Camp Rock won. And when I rewatched it this time around, I was so ready for Camp Rock to win. And when they didn't, I was like, what happened? Did they change the movie? How did this just doesn't compute? It did not compute. So Camp Star sucks.
I'm actually going to talk about that. I want to mention one thing before going into what's that? I'm gonna do fun facts first, and then I can ask my questions. But just to tie into like what you talked about, fun fact: there were the extras in the film were a lot of Jonas Brothers and Disney fans, and because there were so many fans that were extras, they had to film 2 endings, so they didn't know who won and had to wait for the movie to come out. Yeah. I'm like, that is so smart because, they could leak it and be like, because Twitter was a thing then, like just starting out. And so they could have tweeted, they could have put it on Facebook. I was in Camp Rock 2, by the way, Camp Rock lost. Like they could easily spoil it. Oh, I knew this, but I don't know if you knew this. Camp Rock was filmed in the winter. So it can have a summer release. That's usually how things go. Summer movies are filmed in the winter and Christmas movies are filmed in the summer. But you can really see it in what's their song? Oh my God.
This Is What We Came Here For?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. The last one. You can see their breath. And you're like, it doesn't get this cold at night in the summer.
I've always noticed that. And I always felt bad for Mitchie because I'm like, she's wearing a dress and I just can't, it just looks cold. I never even think that it's warm when I watch it. I'm like, she looks cold.
Yes.
And has to act like it isn't. It's insane.
That's just, give it up to actors, man, because like when you are in summer clothing having to think it's hot, and when you are in bundles of clothing trying to pretend it's cold, I could never.
No.
I'll be like, burr. Like, I could not. Oh my gosh. It's so hot. Try not to fan at all.
Meanwhile, you're trying not to cry. Like, I'm so cold.
Exactly.
I'm so cold.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if this goes for both films, but they had to cut a lot of Tessa's scenes because the producers were afraid that she can come off too mean. And if that's the first one, I need to see the director's cut. Because she was terrible. She was so mean in the first one. So if you cut stuff because she was too mean, I need to see that footage. I need to see it. Because what else could she possibly have said?
And I'm like, what is mean for a Disney movie?
I don't know.
Like, what does that look like?
They really pushed the envelope in the first one. Because they tried to give her like a redemption arc. But also like she is still in her old ways by switching camps. Nah, that first one.
She was a bit much in the first one.
Yeah. Where they filmed the lake stuff was actually where they filmed Cheaper by the Dozen. And Allison Stoner's in both films. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's a neat fact.
Yeah, a neat fact.
Very neat.
Oh my God. Oh, okay, I'll say the one above. But basically, the water balloon scene where they had that very Phineas and Ferb track. I was like, who's singing this? Because that and then another montage scene isn't, well, I don't think it's on the soundtrack. Is it on the soundtrack?
I don't even know. Tell me more. I'm not sure if I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so there's the one when like they become camp counselors. And it's just like,
counselors.
Yeah. Oh, the ending. Yes. No, but it's like some early 2000s singer, a girl singing. I don't know what the song is because I only hear it when I watch the movie because I don't think it's on a soundtrack. But the water balloon one, it was like this rock band. It's like, like that's essentially how it goes. But I'm like, where are these songs? Are they like not on a deluxe album? Because normally, like when you have a like in a movie, all the songs would be there, even if it's not something that the people sung. Like in Cheetah Girls 2, the Dance With Me song, no one sung that. That was just played when they were dancing, and it was there. But I gotta look this up. I don't know the first one, but I'm gonna look up balloon scene.
Balloon scene?
Balloon scene. That's what they said in this article. The balloon scene. It was like a water balloon fight. And Mitchie was pissed because they're like none of the campers were being serious. And so she was all like, you guys gotta be serious. Now my music's wet. And like all this other stuff.
I can't really hear it.
I wasn't too far off with my rendition.
Like, I don't even know what's happening. I can't even recognize that sound.
It's when they have a water fight. Like, they were about to practice, and then Joe comes out with, like, the junior campers, and they're all, like, squirting water guns and throwing water balloons, and then everybody starts in a water fight. You don't remember this scene?
This is a little bit, just a little bit, but it must not have been that big to me.
I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
Hold on. What? Oh, this is so bad.
Okay.
You don't remember this part?
Sort of. What?
I don't remember him with the host, though.
Why does this not feel like... What happened after this?
Mitchie was pissed.
Why does that not feel familiar? I don't know.
Yeah, that happened.
Did I watch the movie?
Did you? No, but yeah, that song isn't on the soundtrack that I know of, because I never hear it unless I'm watching it, which is why I don't know the lyrics. But yeah, that scene took place 2 different times a day. So it took place, let me see, at 6 a.m. and then they had to finish the second half before sunset. So it makes it look like they were filmed around the same time, because like, the sun's starting to rise, the sun's starting to set, so like trying to match the sky. The last note that I wanted to talk about was Brenda Song made a cameo.
Did she?
And I don't know if it was 2 or 1, but they just showed Brenda Song's headshot in this, and it was like, she made a cameo. I'm like,
what?
As what?
When?
They're lying.
I do not. Now I have to Google this. Brenda Song in Camp
Brenda
Rock.
Song, London Tipton herself, was in this movie. Girl. The Prindle. I refuse to call it anything else. What is a gear shift? I know Prindle.
It's Prindle. I am not seeing any images.
Any image of her in the. Okay, so yeah, they lied.
Liars.
One thing, because of the fun facts I just talked about, a lot of them I knew because I watched the pop-up edition of Camp Rock. Did you watch it? Because every time I talk about this, people try to gaslight me into thinking this is a fever dream because no one watched pop-up editions of anything.
These are the ones that have like the lyrics and they have fun facts that pop up randomly. Yes. Most likely I did. I definitely did for High School Musical. You're not crazy. Yeah. Thank you. You're not crazy.
No one remembers. Like, don't remember when it would just be like, bloop, bloop. Like they're actually singing karaoke or like something stupid. Did you have any notes that you wanted to add on?
I have a couple quick ones.
Yeah.
One, did you get the vibe? So the Camp Rock, the Camp Star counselor, main person's name was Axel, right? Do you remember that? I don't know.
The guy.
The guy.
That in Camp Star, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you get like, when I watched it this time around, remember Jackal from Cheetah Girls?
It was Jackal!
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my God.
This time around, it was so random. I was like, Axel, Jackal? Are these kind of like the same kind of characters?
The names are very similar. I feel like the characters are not, because once when you see Axel, you're like, oh, he's a bad guy. Versus Jackal, it's just like, there's something about him. And it's like the mom catches on first, but then it's like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. Like it takes the kid brain a little longer to know that he's a bad guy. But like, literally this guy is met with like, he's a bad guy. The lighting, the everything. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think with my adult brain, I equate them to be like kind of basically the same kind of character. The Axel Jackal. I was like, okay, interesting, yeah. Disney. You kind of went with that same.
I think that's how they were trying to paint producers, because they're both producers and both very like, it's about the money, baby, and like all this like stuff. Like the way they try to stereotype producers that just take advantage of people. So I guess like, yeah, that I never thought about that, but yeah, very, very similar. But
yes. The next thing that I want to say, again, this is something that I realized in my adult brain now, but watching the dynamic between Nick and Dana was just so awkward, and awkward on both parties. Like as a child, I just remember it being awkward on Nick's part. Like, open up, Nick, come on, hurry up, get it together. Yeah. But watching Dana, I was like, girl, are you thirsty? Like you just met him and you are trying to force yourself on this man.
The only reason why the only reason why I never thought of that is because they're famous.
And I was about to say that. Yeah.
So that's why it went over my head. It's like everybody knows who they are, like who Connect 3 is. And like, I also find it funny how they're just like, oh, treat us like normal campers and everybody goes away, versus like everybody was like singing through the forest, like hunting down Joe in the first one. But yeah, I just assumed that she was just a fangirl.
See, as a kid, I didn't think that. I thought she was just genuinely interested in him. He was interested in her, but just didn't know how. But now, again, as the adult brain kicks in, I'm like, okay, Are you just trying to get to know him because he is famous and you trying to force yourself on him because he is famous? And then Nick, why don't you see that? Why don't you?
Because he's supposed to be a naive teenage boy. That's the reason what they were painting. I think in my adult brain now, even though I don't feel like this is common amongst celebrities, I'm not a celebo. I don't know how it goes. But I think she saw that commonality of like how she comes from fame with like her dad and how like the regular guy won't understand, and how like she might feel like they have that how they can take advantage of her in that situation. Like, oh yeah, she got money. And I think she feels like, oh, we're equal playing field. I come from fame, you are fame. We're good together. And so I think she was able to open up more with him because of that shared lifestyle experience. But if she was just some regular old girl, a little different. It would hit a little different. But now I'm reaching, but I feel like it makes sense because no one goes that deep for a Disney film.
Yeah.
Unless somebody was very passionate in film school and just like, I need a creative outlet. And so they try to put all these like theories and themes and allegories throughout a Disney Channel film. But that's just me reaching, trying to think of something.
Yeah, I would be kind of interested if there was a bit of a backstory on that, because again, I was like, this is just too intense for me, the way that she was coming on to him.
Pacing definitely terrible.
Very much so. You
hit him in the eye with a bracelet.
And suddenly you're in love.
Now, boom, your name's on my wrist and right. I caused you bodily harm. And now your name is on my wrist.
We're forever bound together, whether you realize it or not. You are mine.
Oh my gosh. No.
And then the last thing, I think we kind of touched upon it with Mitchie taking on such the big responsibility of making Camp Rock continue and making Camp Rock go on, and how everyone went to Mitchie to get her final approval and get the answers. I was like, when did she become? Why is she the leader of all of this? She is that Camp Rock. That's just definitely like all of you.
Definitely one of my questions that needed answers. Who left her in charge? Like, I get that she took the initiative, and also actually another question within like, why is she in charge? Who's at fault here? Is it Brown's fault for overreacting, or is it Mitchie for getting hurt by that overreaction and trying to prove herself? Because they try to do that whole, like, even with Cheetah Girls series, paint the main, like, one of the leads as the villain because they're passionate about something. Like, it was very Cheetah Girls. And yeah, I think they're trying to paint her as a villain, but I always blamed Brown. Like, he was the one that was like, we're gonna have to close our doors forever, blah blah blah. I'm like, why did she do that? She fell in the trap. I'm like, Brown, calm down.
This is a child you are talking about. Brown. You are the adult in this situation.
And also, she wasn't the one. How come her yes was the overall yes?
Exactly.
They were all talking up, saying we could beat Camp Star any day. Camp Rock. So like, they all did this as a collective.
Yeah.
And yet it's her fault. And then now she's the villain because she's like, y'all gotta pick up the slack. They've been working on this since January. So clearly we're at a disadvantage because we thought we were just gonna be jet skiing and all this other stuff, playing volleyball and having s'mores.
Being kids.
Even though they're like, well, they're supposed to be like 14. No, I think they're in high school.
Kids. They're kids.
Still kids. But anywho, it was all their fault. And they needed to lighten up. Because I didn't know if it was like a she went too far situation, because they felt bad in the end. And was like, oh, we really have to step it up. Because like, it should have been about camp. That's why they were there. But also they had very high stakes. Which also, in my opinion, I don't think were very high. Because another thing I had a question about were they really going to close if they lost? Why couldn't all y'all just come back next year and do the same thing? Like, right. I doubt a camper was like, oh, we lost. Guess I'm gonna go to Camp Star since we suck. Like, I don't think they lost whoever they lost in the beginning. Y'all could have just came back, became counselors again. Y'all could have got paid to be at camp since y'all love camp so much. Could have got a check with the two. This was voluntarily the first year. Next year, you could have got a check. And like, no matter what, y'all could have came back.
And that's also something that I wanted to point out. Like, the fact that, what is his name? The uncle?
Brown.
The fact that Brown was so like immediately like, we have to close down camp. We have no other options. We are closing down. And all it took was Dimitri and friends to say, we can step up. We can do this. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, all is good. We can keep going.
I mean, he literally just had Mitchie's mom to cook. Like, he had no one. So like, yeah, I wouldn't think a whole bunch of 15-year-olds will want to police other 15-year-olds and a couple 10-year-olds. Cause like, yeah, I would have his extremism and that
there
part.
You go.
That part, it made sense because it's like, what else can I do? Because like, I couldn't picture me being 15 going to camp and it's just a whole bunch of people my age and it's just like the select few of the 15-year-olds just like, I'm going to teach you how to play the drums now. I was like, what?
When I watched it this time around, I kind of equated it to being an Peer Dean's orientation meeting and how
but also
kids meeting kids.
We have because like we had a year experience if you started as a sophomore, but a lot of peer deans were seniors and juniors. Like, they don't bring on a lot of sophomores. Like, it's so hard to because like, no, you weren't there yet. But yeah, when freshmen trying to be a peer dean for the next year is so hard. Really? But yeah, juniors and seniors, it was easier. It was like, I just learned where this building was. Like, how am I going to help you? So, yeah. And also you have more time too. So it's like, if you're a senior, yeah, you can only do this once. So I'll accept you first. But yeah, we were kind of like blind leading the blind, that aspect. But
we made it work.
Yeah, we made it work. But also, we weren't their sole thing. They also had teachers. They also had other faculty. Like, we weren't the sole guidance for them. We were just like someone to like peer-to-peer, hence the name, like help them out. Yeah. But this is where it makes sense for camp. It's just I never thought of it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this is where I feel like I blame Brown because there should have been more he should have been orchestrating more instead of just having these camp rockers lead other camp rockers.
Yeah, because he really left them to dry, like hang and dry.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't a Disney Channel movie and if it was in some other context, we probably would have seen more from his perspective. But it just, the vibe of it.
The only time we saw him is when he was having a fit.
He was throwing his tantrums.
Yes. Connect 3. What is their relationship? There are definitely some plot holes and continuity issues with this. Because in the first movie, Nick was like, you're going to go see your uncle. And so it made it seem like they weren't related. And like, that's why they didn't go. It was just, well, also it was kind of like a, what's that called? When, like your friends, like all your friends are together and then they're like calling you out on something. An intervention. It was like an intervention.
Wow.
It was like an intervention because he was being a diva. And so they sent him off to summer camp. And so that's why they weren't there. But also they kept saying like, your Uncle Brown, blah, 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 blah. Like make it seem like they weren't related. But in this movie, Joe's like, my brothers, they all call him Brown. None of the, like Joe doesn't call him Uncle Brown anymore. But it's just like, what? Like, what are y'all? Because it was kind of stupid in the first movie to be like, they kind of look similar, but they're not related. And then this one, like, they're the Joe Bros or the Co Bros.
The Co Bros. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
I
gosh.
always thought they were brothers. I thought they were just themselves, but they just couldn't use the Jonas Brothers names. They were just.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Another fun fact that blog didn't have, that was in the pop-up edition that I now have confirmation was true. The bus scene, when the bus flipped over, that was one take. And so it was just like golden that the window with the window with Joe's face slammed. They're like, that wasn't planned because we only had one take of this. Oh. So yeah, I was like, movie magic, that's great. But okay, so I guess they're brothers. But not like, I'm gonna just say it was an intervention and keep it pushing, because it really didn't make sense. I was so confused the second movie. I was like, I thought they were not related.
I feel like I would have to watch the first one to remember how that was. But since I've only watched the second one way more than I watched the first one, I feel like to me they always felt like brothers.
Because like even Brown was just making it seem like, oh, that's my nephew. And like then it was nephews. And I'm like, you only claimed Kevin. I'm not Kevin. You only claimed Joe in the first one. But
were Nick and Kevin in the first one?
They were in the first one. They just weren't at camp. They were judges in the final jam, and they were in the beginning with with Joe going to camp. They were in a limo. But yeah, they were barely in the first movie.
Then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say. What else do I have questions on? Because there was just too much going on in this film. Did Camp Star genuinely win? Or was it because of the advertising money that they won? I feel like that was never clear. I mean, from their egos, they won because they were good. I feel like, being non-biased here, removing myself from the situation, both performances were good, but they were both giving different things. It was putting two genres together. Like, I mean, they weren't playing the same game. Like, Camp Rocks was very fun. They were in the audience, like, you know those award show performances, like when they come up the aisle and all that, like that's what all the band was coming up the aisle with the trumpets and the trombones and stuff. I was like, this is so fun. They had the beach ball that were clear, but that was a callback to like the 50 beach balls instead of 50 cases of beans or whatever. So like, let's use the beach balls. But the whatchamacallit, that not at home thing, the little, like, you know, camcorder that Frankie was carrying, they did a montage with that footage. That's very concert. Like, I felt like I was at a concert when I saw that. But then the other one was like an AMA performance. Like, it was just like two different playing fields. So to declare a winner with that, it's just like, okay, like, what were you going off of stage presence? And like, they all sung well. None of them hit bad notes. Like, it made they weren't like dry. It was just two different performances. So it's all like, what's your musical taste at that point? So I feel like they won because of the text messages and stuff that was all done in the Western Hemisphere or whatever that announcer lady said.
Right.
So I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, how do you declare a winner?
You know what? I remember that part in the movie where they said that's what they did, but I always forget Camp Star always leaves my memory. Yeah. And the fact that they won just baffles me. But I do think now I'm like, yeah, it had to be the advertising, or maybe I'm biased, but it had to be because
Camp Rock's performance was good. It was just
great. It was phenomenal. It was the best. It should have won.
No, I'm saying like it wasn't bad. Like, Camp Stars makes it seem like it was bad because they have bad egos. But I feel like for that realm, it should have been Camp Rock because it seemed more for the audience. But also you have a split audience because like some people are there for that. Other people are there for industry purposes, which is why AMA Grammy type of performance, very technical, very like organized, might seem better to them. So it's like, it just mattered how many fans were there of each. So
yeah,
it had to be the advertising. There was no way everybody was like, yeah, Camp Star.
Do you think if they didn't do the Western Hemisphere advertising, do you think they still would have won based off of just who was in the audience voting?
That's kind of hard because like I feel like Axel would have had some influence on something. Because like even with the audience, because I'm assuming the audience was campers, majority of the campers that summer were at Camp Star. So there's going to be some bias somewhere leaning in favor of Camp Star. So I feel like they probably would have won regardless.
Probably.
Yeah.
That makes
sense.
But
then also, I don't know, because like a lot of them came over to Camp Rock. It was like, I want to do this summer. That was good. Like Camp Rock's performance was very like, this is summer camp. If you want to go to summer camp, come here.
But if you want fun,
yeah.
If you want to have fun, go to Camp Rock.
Yeah.
If you want to be miserable, go to Camp Star.
Oh my gosh. No, it was more like if you want to be, I mean, that was the one thing they kind of had right. If you want to be in the industry, if you really care about this as your craft, go to Camp Star. But if you're just like, music is one of my passions, not necessarily like I'm going to be a drummer, I'm going to be a whatever, and you just love having a musical outlet in summer, Camp Rock. Camp Rock. But yeah, two totally different things. That's why I'm like, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
True.
Yeah. That's my last question. I'm leaving on that.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah. So yeah, with all that, we laid out everything, the pros, the cons. I would say let's do 2 ratings. What did you rate this as a youth? And what do you rate it now? And if you want to use like a fun little rating system, that's what we normally do here, like something that pertains to the movie. Like, you know, like 10 out of 10 homemade quesadillas. Ooh. Or something like that, you know, whatever comes to mind. You want to use instead of stars, even though stars does fit. But I doubt you would use it since your disdain for the camp.
We're not using stars here.
Okay, great.
I, as a child, or I was in high school, I think, when this movie came out.
Yes.
Back then, I would say, this is hard because now I'm thinking, because like I said, High School Musicals 1 and 2 are really up there. Those would definitely be 10s out of 10. So I'm like, does this also equate to a 10 out of 10 for me?
I would say make it standalone, because that's when it does get kind of iffy. Because I'm like, are High School Musical, Camp Rock, and Cheetah Girls all on the same like level?
That would be.
But that's too difficult, and I don't want to think about that because I'll make my brain hurt. So
you know what? You're right. Standalone movie.
Standalone.
10 graham crackers out of 10 graham crackers.
Graham crackers.
As an adult, well, no, I'll let you go, and then I'll say my adult one. My adult rating.
I'm trying to think of a rating system. I would give it. Yeah, as a youth, I would give it 10 out of 10 bracelets to the eye.
Okay.
It comes right at you, but it leaves a lasting effect that will carry on with you for a lifetime. Camp Rock 2, everyone.
I agree. So as an adult, though, the rating is completely different.
Oh no.
I have to give it probably 6 graham crackers.
6 graham crackers?
I know. And I think it's only because of the nostalgic feeling of it and the memories that it brings me. But it's not a movie that I imagine. It's not a timeless movie. It's just, it just is. You had to be there. You had to enjoy it in the moment. It's not something that I can imagine adults going back and saying, let me watch Camp Rock. Yeah, so 6 graham crackers.
Oh no, not 6.
That's 6.
I wonder if I can come. What else happened in this movie? Oh, okay. I know what I'll give it. I'm gonna explain it after, but I'm gonna give it 8.5 tiny drumstick taps out of 10.
Okay.
I just love that part. For you, Mitchie, anything. Let's rock. Like, you're not playing the drums or even hitting the bench. Like, it made no sense. Anyways, I do think, yeah, a lot of nostalgic ties to it, but also I was 15. So it was like not that much of like it wasn't my childhood. So clearly this was a choice for me to watch anyway. So that's why I feel like not much has changed. Like, yeah, some years have gone by, but not much has changed as far as like it being my formative years and where I'm like, no one talk about, like, Cheetah Girls is untouchable. No one talk about it. But like, I'm like, if someone says something bad about Camp Rock, respectfully, you're wrong. But I'm not mad at you about it because like it makes sense. But when I look back on it, like I was saying before, I don't think, besides a couple moments, the cringe was just like, oof, this didn't age well cringe. It was cringe that was intentional that I find funny. Because I think cringy stuff is funny when it's not done on purpose. It's like, or it's like they had no intentions on being cringy at all. So it's like, you know what you're signing up for. You are not watching Universal Lion Gate like Oscar film. So like, I know what I'm getting into when I see that little ribbon come and like everybody's jumping around what I'm about to watch.
Let's watch a Disney Channel.
They're telling me what I'm getting into. Yeah. Like, if I'm ignoring the flags, that's on me at that point. They did a key change and everything. They let me know what we're gonna watch. So if I chose to ignore that, that's on me. I would say it's a favorite. I personally don't go back and watch it that much. Watch it a bunch in college though.
Yeah.
Like every time braiding hair, it was always High School Musical and Camp Rock too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I haven't watched it in a couple years. So it's not like it is kind of a comfort movie. Like I was just instantly so excited when the first song came on, but I'm not like fire up Disney Plus. It's Camp Rock 2 time. So,
yeah. For me, it's
there's some growth there, so don't come for me.
If I ever get in the mood to feel Camp Rock 2 vibes, all it takes for me is to listen to the soundtrack, and then I can just visualize the whole movie. I don't actually have to sit down and watch it. Yeah,
100%. But yeah, that's it for the episode. It was great. It was a ball. Great time talking with you, Candice. Actually, you're like the first person that's actually doing something on the internet. If you want to talk about it.
Am I the first?
Because like my sister is not going to plug her social media. You're the second person. So that's why. If you want to plug anything, or if you want, I mean, all of 2 people will be listening.
Stop doing that.
I being one, so I'm already a step ahead of the other.
I guess
random.
I'm number 2.
The other, okay, so 3. The other random person in like Nevada. That's good. Listen to this.
Well, hello, person in Nevada.
Yes.
This is my first time plugging myself on anything, but
I
am newly, I guess, a YouTuber, sort of, kind of, maybe a little bit.
Woo!
I make
you're
videos.
using the platform as a creative outlet. If you don't want to use influencer or any other thing. You're using YouTube as a creative outlet.
Exactly right. I am using YouTube as a creative outlet,
yes,
Nevada person, to talk about experiences that I've been feeling lately. The content is completely different than what we discussed today. I'm more so talking about personal, spiritual growth and things of that nature. But if you're interested, I am ItsCandiceM on YouTube.
Looking forward to what's to come of Candice's channel. I personally like it. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah. But I think it's safe to say the next episode, because I'm literally filming it in a couple days. The next episode will be with my friend Mags. We're going to be talking about Blue's Clues. So, yeah. You'll see it soon, eventually. But this one you're seeing now, today. So live in the moment. If you really want to hear us again, just rewind, start from the beginning.
Stop, please stop.
Get this episode a whole bunch of views. Because like, if we don't upload on a Friday, you got Camp Rock. Listen to it again.
Oh my
Gonna be a great episode.
Sure.
No com. Okay, no com. All right, I'm done. Going off the rails here. So I'll just wrap it up. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Friday Night Lineup. Make sure to comment and rate us 5 stars. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Friday Night Lineup, for the video version of this podcast. Also, make sure to follow our Instagram and Twitter at TFNL_pod for more updates. And while you're there, give us some suggestions on what we should watch next. Bye!